Is being fat a choice? It has nothing to do with the Victoria sponge cakes. It's out of your control. Of course it is. Telling a dangerously overweight person not to lose weight because they're beautiful is like telling an alcoholic not to stop drinking because they're fun. There's a channel here on YouTube called Jubilee. I'm sure you've all heard of it. They bring people from different walks of life together to discuss important issues and share their own unique viewpoints. It's that channel that the fella who is the same shade as a teabag but is left wing, which is weird, always reacts to, you know the fella I'm on about. He has like silver rings on each finger. They all look like they cost £3 from Primark. You know the fella, he won't look out of place in a mosque on a prayer mat, but at the same time, he'd also be able to tell your missus what shade of acrylic nail paint goes with the lipstick she's wearing. You know what I mean, don't you? He's called Hassan. Yeah. He reacts to these all the time. And you've got people like him reacting, you know, spreading their fairy dust over the conversation, fluttering the wrists at you while they're talking. Yeah? Just bringing their feminine energy to the equation, even though they've got a ball sack. So I thought what I'd do is I'd put my sack and shaft on the table. Wouldn't make that noise, only 6 inches, but I put my sack and shaft on the table and bring a proper bloke's perspective to the argument. Hey, different context. I'm not banging on my chest in that context, right? Shh. No cancellation, shush. This video in particular, is being fat a choice, is an interesting one for me. A couple of years ago, I'm not sure if you were aware, it slipped quite under the radar because I held it well, but I myself was quite fat, and I know that's going to be a shocking revelation to some of you. It's not, is it? It's not shocking at all. I was visibly the size of a 6-berth Fiat motorhome with a reversing camera. Nowadays, I'd say I resemble a man who you look at and you think he definitely used to be fat because his chest are Lidl bags. And his head is still the size of one of Jupiter's moons, but he's obviously lost quite a bit of weight, fair play to him. So with that in mind, I feel as if I can add a fairly unique, possibly interesting perspective onto this whole discussion. Is being fat a choice? Who knows? Now let's all together watch these big people try and convince us that their weight has nothing to do with all the chocolate eclairs he puts in their mouths. Let's watch.
Being fat or skinny is a choice. Agreeers?
Of course, only one of the 4 XXL people walk forward and agree with that. Do you know what? The other ones probably don't even disagree. They just can't be arsed with a walk to the chairs. They can't be arsed with a journey. They'll get out of breath.
And in most cases, for most people, being skinny or being fat is about willpower. It's about the environment you grow up in, sure, but who you choose to associate with, what sort of things you choose to listen to, who you choose to kind of have as your friends around you and support you. All of those things are choices that you can make that will lead you closer towards being one or the other.
As he counts the Cumberland sausages attached to his hand, John Goodman does his very best to just remember that these are in fact fingers, so that he doesn't try and bite them off. Very good point, soulmate. You're bringing a lot of sense to the argument. Nice to see.
I think the whole choice is, you know, always determined on who they are, and it's not going to just be a thing done overnight.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of, I think it's like breaking the barrier and breaking a lot of things, not only your body, but also breaking your mental state.
Sure.
And again, that depends on who you are and what you want to go through.
Eugenia is absolutely correct here. It's never done overnight. And it is more about your mental health. Once you get your mental health in tip-top shape, your physical health will naturally follow suit. With that being said, can we get Mrs. Cooney a sandwich, please?
I felt like as a toddler, I always viewed myself as big. I grew up in a very poor home, so where my mom couldn't provide the meals that she could healthily. So when we would get free meals, even then, it would be canned food, and it would be very much food that's not as edible. It was food for us, yes, but
Then I felt like once I reached a point where I was old enough to try to make my own choices, I made all of the wrong choices I wasn't eating, and I was only eating like grapes.
I had to speed this up because Elmer Fudd will not stop waffling. Don't mention waffles to her though. She'll ask you if you've got physical waffles, and when you say no, love, it's a figure of speech. She might eat your legs.
I was the thinnest I could be.
Were you still big though?
I was still big, but that was the skinniest I've ever been, and that's coming from somebody who was only eating somewhat salads that are just fruit and lettuce and water and maybe ice right before a practice.
Well, what you're doing here, Mrs. Fudd, is a little thing called lying. You were not eating just lettuce and ice for a prolonged period of time and staying fat. That is not true. You may have been eating lettuce and you might just have been eating ice as well. But that lettuce, you were dipping into a chocolate fountain, and the ice over here, it's a different name. It's not called ice, it's called ice cream. Yeah? No Pablo Inglés, no, I understand, but ice cream, not just ice, right?
Do you think that right now you would not be capable of becoming a thin woman if you wanted
I
to?
possibly would be capable of becoming a thin woman, but since I was young,
So you would be capable, and thus you've just accidentally admitted that being fat is a choice. Oh. Go on though, I'm sensing excuses. Let's hear them.
I was supposed to get blood tested probably when I was very, very young, and I never did. And they had mentioned that it could have been because of my weight and how that connects with my thyroid. I never made the connection, and I never had like that leaning parent to be like, go and get checked out, go and do this. Like, your weight is probably not your fault. It was always like, your weight is your fault, so that's your issue.
Bro is just talking. Doesn't matter what your parents were like. You are a grown woman now. So buy yourself an exercise bike, attach your fishing rod to the back of it, and then on the little string thing, put a Cadbury's Crunchy, dangle it in front of yourself, and get to riding, love. Yeah? No Pablo Inglés, get to riding. Yes? Moving, yes?
As a disabled woman, I can't do a lot of the things that people say, calories in, calories out, oh, you gotta go work out and exert it. A lot of the things that are typical, oh, this is how you lose weight, put me in the hospital. I have to navigate weight differently. I have to look at it differently. My weight is the way it is because of medication, because doctors put me in this position.
Yes, true. You are 25 stone because you're on antibiotics. Yeah. The reality, darling, is this. You've already given up the idea that you are in any way in control of yourself or in control of all of this. Therefore, you've allowed yourself to turn into a block of cheese because it's not my responsibility that I'm putting these M&Ms into my mouth by the bucketful, by the troughful. It's not your responsibility, is it? No! It's medication, yeah, M&Ms. Nothing to do with the M&Ms, it's the antibiotics you're on. Fact. Not M&Ms, it's the ibuprofen. Medication and those caramel salted M&Ms are not the same thing.
There's a thing called set points. There's a ton of research on it, that your body likes to be at specific weights. It likes to be in a specific way. So if you are fighting yourself to lose weight by not eating, over exercising, and you are damn near killing yourself to be at a specific weight, your body's unhappy.
This is a good one. So this woman's excuse for being an oblong is schizophrenia, essentially. Oh, I can't. I need to eat the cheese and the chocolate and the sweeties, otherwise my legs will get sad. Imagine if, right, back when I was built like a bag of soup, I'd come onto my live streams and I'd say, in all seriousness as well, boys, I'm not losing weight just yet because I've been having a conversation with my thighs. Yeah, I've been having a back and forth. My legs have been speaking to me. They've told me they don't want me losing weight. Do you know what you do? You try and get in touch with my family and say, I think Brad needs some help. And I'd be sectioned under the NHS Mental Health Act. That's how that will play out. You may as well just say you've had a conference call with the alloys on your car and the pigeons in the street, and you've all decided as a group that, you should be staying obese. It's for the best that you stay obese, because that's pretty much what you've just said. That makes as much sense as what you just said.
I would rather be skinny than fat. Can the agreeers please step forward?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, so true. All of you that stay behind, yeah, you'd much rather be fat than skinny. Course you would. Yeah, fuck you. You just prefer being out of breath walking up the stairs in your own home. You just so happen to prefer smelling like a corpse left out in the sun if you haven't washed 3 times a day. You just prefer leaving a trail of slime behind you everywhere you go like you're a slug. Yeah, obviously.
I think that it is common in society to want to be skinny. I think the average person typically wants to be skinny. I'm actually surprised that I didn't see more people come forward on that question.
Because they're liars, Lauren. They lie to themselves. They tell themselves it's not their fault that they are built like overgrown potatoes. So of course they're going to lie to me, they're going to lie to you, they're going to lie to us. Of course they are. Got no issue doing that if they lie to themselves.
I guess it depends on what you mean when you think of the term skinny. Are you thinking of just like an average weight person, or are you thinking of how you are now?
I'm the average weight for like women in America.
Yeah, I
so
like
if we're talking about an average, like I'm gonna be the closest.
I think what he meant by that, my big beautiful bag of sand, and I think you knew exactly what he meant as well, is he meant normal and healthy. But your big chocolate excuse is because other American women just like you like a bag of crisps, then you're for some reason excused.
If your biggest priority is to be in a smaller body, you need to reassess your priorities.
If your biggest priority is wanting to live longer to see your kids grow up, you should reassess your priorities.
What's the difference between a obese person, myself, walking around in a G-string or a bathing suit, as I do almost every day, and a skinny person? Like, is it okay that the skinny person is doing that?
Yes, because the skinny person is not a mountain of lard.
To say that when Lizzo does it is the same as a Victoria's Secret angel is just not the same.
Yeah, what's the difference?
What's the difference? The difference is that a Victoria's Secret model is what Lizzo has for dinner.
I don't think that we as a society should be modeling obesity.
But I'm not modeling obesity, I'm modeling the lingerie that obese people need to be able to have availability to buy.
Yeah. So they've always had the ability to buy.
We have not.
Here's a thought, conflicting argument. Obese people probably wouldn't struggle, and I'm sure it is a genuine struggle, and they wouldn't struggle with finding lingerie if they didn't eat 25 apple turnovers a day to make themselves obese in the first place. Just a thought, just a conflicting opinion.
If you go to Torrid, a single underwear is like almost $20.
Yeah.
And you go to like any other Walmart, any Target, and like all these underwears are on special for like $5 to like $20 and stuff.
Well, it does take more fabric to make it.
John Goodman coming in with the facts once again. The reason that your underwear is more expensive is because it costs more to turn a bed sheet into knickers.
Something that I always get a lot of comments on is my masculinity as a man because of how skinny I am. It's always something that I've always kind of dealt with. My favorite comment is always, I look like a sickly, ill Victorian child. And
That's horrible.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh at that.
No, I don't, it doesn't bother me as much, but
He's just shared what is probably his deepest, darkest bit of trauma in a room where he assumedly felt was safe to do so, and he's got Peter Griffin sat opposite him, looking him in the eyes, dead in the eyes, and laughing at him, pissing himself. That's fucking hilarious. The rest of this video is pretty cordial, to be honest, and ironically consists of healthy discussion, which is great for them, and I absolutely do encourage that, but not that good for content. So instead of trying to draw out the video for more time, I'm instead going to give you my personal take on this discussion. In order to make positive changes for yourself, whether it be your physical health or any area of your personal life, you have to understand that you are in the driver's seat. The second you tell yourself that you do not have that control and you relinquish that power over yourself, you give up. You are in control of your personal outcomes always, because you always have a choice. And the sooner we come to terms with that often uncomfortable truth, the sooner we can construct our lives in a way that suits us the best. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in a few days with a new video.